So welcome to my game of the year for 2023. 2023 will go down as one of the craziest years ever. I've had a hard time keeping up, but it's been so much fun trying to keep up with all of these games this year, and there's been so many. Before I begin, I will ask you guys, what is your favorite video game of 2023? Let me know down below. And I'll also do a separate video talking about all of the rest of the games of the year that I played that I really think deserve to be there as well. But there can only be one. And this one was very, very simple for me. Very, very easy to do. And it was a game that, I'll be honest with you, and I'm dead honest, I didn't have a lot of crazy hype for. You know, I said in videos, yeah, I'm excited for it. But behind the scenes, I was talking to friends, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to be more of the same, I was thinking. And that wasn't a bad thing, because I liked the first game so much. And so the hype for this one wasn't massive for me. I was like, yeah, I'll play it. I'm sure it's going to be a great game, but I wasn't going crazy for it. And then I started to play the game, and something crazier happened. And I'm just going to show the game. I'm just going to talk about it. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, this is my game of the year. And it didn't start off so great. My hype level was kind of like, it's going to be a lot like Breath of the Wild. It's going to be a bit more of the same. That's kind of okay though. That'll be great. And then I started to play it. And then I did this. Yes, I did this when I was playing it to begin with.
Check it.
And the reason why, I said in another video, it was too much to begin with. It was too much. So I have a show online that I talk about video games. I talk about Zelda games. I finished every Zelda game. So I knew I had to play this game and finish it for the show, but also as a fan. And I'm a massive fan. So I start to play the game and I'm like, oh my God, this game is way too big. This is way too much. Like, you know, Breath of the Wild was big, right? The entire land and all the other places you can go. It was crazy in that. But this had multiple levels. We had the sky levels, we had the ground level, and then we had underneath the ground. And I'm like, I had a moment where I'm just like, I don't think I can do this. It's too overwhelming. I got overwhelmed by the game. It was like, I could see everything that I needed to do. And I'm like, I don't know. It wasn't even a matter of time. It was a matter of like, mentally, can I do it? Because it's like, it felt overwhelming, as I say. Am I alone? There must have been some other people out there that felt the same way. That you're like, I can't do this game. And I had that moment, and I was like, maybe I'll just do a first thoughts on it, and that'll be it. And then I'm like, no, this is the next Zelda game. So what I did was I systematically started to do all the shrines. I'm like, because I felt like I was getting nowhere. I was getting killed, I was going in the wrong direction, and that's what we're gonna get back to in a second there. And I'm doing all the wrong things, and I'm dying all the time, and I'm like, I got cruddy weapons, I'm running in the same spot, I felt. So I'm like, no, let's do all the shrines. So I did nearly 60 shrines in a row, just to build up my main core character. And then once I had done that, then it was time to start playing the game, and I systematically started to make a plan to get through it. I did the shrines, got my character built up a bit, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, dungeon, then I'm gonna do this dungeon. And before I knew it, I couldn't believe it, I was at the end of the game. And I had done pretty much everything that I wanted to do in the game. What I want to say at this point is that I was so overwhelmed, almost on the verge of quitting, really, to tackling it, getting to the end, and discovering that this is one of the, I'm going to say it, to me personally, this is not your opinion, this is just my opinion, you can definitely chime in. This is, to me, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I've thought about it for months and months. I believe this is the greatest video game ever made. I do. I've never seen anything like it in my time. There's been other open world games for sure that have aspired and done great things. That's, I'm not taking away from any other game, but this game for me personally had everything that I needed. It had a great challenge. It had a huge open world on multiple levels. It had great weapons. It had great enemies. It had so many secrets and so many things to discover that just never ended until the end of the game. And then I didn't even scratch the surface of what you can do with this game. A lot of people say, oh, what game would you take to a desert island? Without question, this is the #1 game, Tears of the Kingdom, because there's so much gameplay here. There's so much you can do. There's so many places to explore. There's so many things to uncover that you can spend years just playing this game, doing perfect, getting every single thing that you would ever want to do in it. And that's why it's a triumph. And I've already stated that Breath of the Wild is my favorite video game of all time. It just hit me right in the feels, man. I mean, it was just perfect at the perfect time. And I know a lot of people are like, what? Where's your Phantasy Star? That's your favorite game of all time. Phantasy Star is my #1 game of all time, nostalgically. Absolutely, has a special place for me. But this game, from a technical point of view, was every single thing I would have wanted as a kid growing up. And as a guy who's gotten a bit older, this game still is giving me that. I remember young John, Breath of the Wild gave me everything that I could have ever desired. So, where does Tears of the Kingdom? Is this my new favorite game of all time? It's up there. It's like #2. Breath of the Wild, now, can you believe it, gets a nostalgia nod ahead of this one. But this, I believe, is a better game than Breath of the Wild. There's so much more gameplay. There's so much more you can do. With fusing items together to create contraptions out of this world, things we've never seen before. You can build practically anything. You can build ships, you can build cars and traverse the land with these things, attack monsters with them. It's never ending, and I was just so blown away watching videos of some of the things people have created. I was in awe. And never mind the ascend ability to be able to go through different floors. And then the recall ability to rewind time. Look at what we're talking about here. The physics alone in this game is a triumph. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I cannot believe Nintendo created this game. And I'm not knocking Nintendo in that regard, but the game is so ambitious and it could fail in so many ways. You could just build a huge world and then say, oh, we'll put some sky stuff in and we'll create some underground mazes and things like that. And the player gets in there and you're like, okay, I'm just lost. I don't know what to do. But the game is so brilliantly conceived that you never are lost. There's always something to do. You're always like, oh, where am I? Oh, where am I in the beginning? And you're like, oh, I'll just go do that shrine. That's what I did, right? Oh, I'll just go do another shrine. And hey, what's that in the distance there? And that's what I love, the freedom. I always wanted, as a kid, an exploration game where I could go anywhere and do anything that I wanted to do. And this game is the closest thing to that dream, where I can just get on a horse, ride off into the sunset, and say, hey, look, there's a monster here. I'll jump off and kill it. Oh, I got a new weapon, and I'm going to add something to that weapon. And it's crazy, the layers in this game. It's just layers upon layers upon layers upon layers, and it's brilliantly conceived. And it is by far my game of the year. There was no question this year. Now, Resident Evil 4 was really good for me. Really good. The remake.
Copy that.
But this game is just doing so much more in the open world environments that I can't believe it. And I really wonder in the future how Nintendo is going to top this game. What more can they possibly do? For me, they've hit a perfection level. And a game that still blows me away. I'm in awe of this game. I'm in absolute awe of Tears of the Kingdom. And it's a game that I'm definitely going to revisit over the years. And it's one of those things now. I built up my character. I finished the game, got the Hyrulean shield and sword and all that, and explored all around. But there's still so many places for me to go in this game. The game is not over yet. In fact, in a way, the game is just beginning. And it's remarkable. I don't know how many people it took to make this game, but it's an achievement, and it's one that I applaud. As a fan of video games, I never thought I'd play a game like this in my lifetime. So I'm very, very thrilled I got the opportunity to play it, and that it did live up to the expectations. And as I say, my expectations were like, oh, it's going to be Breath of the Wild again. So I thought that was going to be cool, but I didn't really think too much more about it. And then I started playing the game and I was resentful at first, and then I was thankful in the end, and a level of appreciation looking at the world design and all the characters and everything that's populated throughout, the enemies, the bosses, the dungeons, the exploration. It's second to none, and easily my game of the year for 2023. What do you guys think? What is your game of the year? What was the big one for you that you're like, oh my God, there can only be one, and this is the one for me? For me, it was Tears of the Kingdom. Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.